Fence on me.
Glimpses in mid.
To behind us.
What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Glimpse gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of leaked new maps that we have seen floating around the interweb here lately. So let's head over and check it out. So I'm going to cut together a little bit of footage here as I'm talking and then go into the gameplay about some of the leaked maps that we have seen. And by the way, I know nothing about this. I had nothing to do with this. This is something that was completely not part of like me and what I do. So I don't want to hear anything of like, I leaked them. I'm just presenting the information to you guys. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So as you can see from some of these videos, we do have a new version of Canals 2.0 that opens up that middle area, extends the middle area out quite a bit, that middle warehouse, and it also adds some different lanes to get into the different boats, which would be the plant sites for demolition, and it allows for different types of rotations, different types of pushes, and things like that. As you can see with Villa 2.0 is what they're calling it. This is basically a rework of High Castle. I know that this is something that a lot of people have wanted in Rogue Company for quite a while, myself included, because High Castle feels like it is the worst map for any game mode that you play in Rogue Company currently. It doesn't feel good on TDM. It doesn't feel good on Strikeout. It doesn't feel good on King of the Hill. It feels okay on Extraction. It doesn't feel great on Demolition because it is very defender heavy for that map specifically. And with them reworking it, redesigning it, and opening it up a little bit more, it allows for different types of pushes, different types of rotations, and it also allows for some very interesting verticality in this map where it feels like there's almost levels to it, almost like 3 different levels to this map specifically. And at certain points of the map, it feels like there's 3 different levels in one, in certain areas, like on the tower, where you can have 3 different types of engagements on 3 different levels at that point that allows for different gunfights to play out, different types of rotations and things like that. We also get a sneak peek at potential changes for Icarus and also for Factory. Now for Icarus, that is one of the maps that I enjoy playing the most. I think that there is some very interesting ways to play that map specifically, and I feel like it's very close quarters focused, and it makes for a very interesting close quarters experience. So I'm not really 100% sure about the changes to that map specifically, but I'm interested to try it out if it's something that actually comes into the game. And then also we have Factory, and Factory is one of those maps that I kind of like the way that the map plays right now. I think that it's very interesting how it has that, lane in the middle that goes from left to right as opposed to up and down, or from, west to east or east to west as opposed to north to south. And it allows for some very interesting rotations, some very interesting flanks and things like that. But with the way that they seem to be shaking things up over there, this could provide different ways, of course, of approaching points and approaching bomb sites, things like that, and could also provide huge implications as to how these games are going to be playing on respawn game modes and also objective based respawn game modes, right? Whenever you start looking at these maps and the way that they look in these videos, it shows it to be very much larger, but also it feels like it's going to be different point placements for those objective game modes to get less of a bottleneck and more of a secure the area type situation. So I know that this happens in Factory a lot with like King of the Hill or also Strikeout. There's very much bottlenecks, and I know that there's different ways to access the points, whenever you're playing these respawn game modes, but there's a ton of bottlenecks whenever it comes down to how you approach the point and how the defenders that have access to the point currently can defend against people that are pushing it. And sometimes it feels bad in both directions. It feels like sometimes whenever you're defending the point that there's too many access routes, and it feels like sometimes whenever you're pushing the point that there's not enough access routes, and you have to basically feed into the team, and the first team to get there, the first team to wipe, and the first team to set up actually makes that round the victory. And it feels bad. It feels like it shouldn't be that way. So maybe opening these maps up a little bit, changing the way that some of the covers laid out, and expanding on them a little bit more will make that feel a little bit better and make it feel a little less claustrophobic and a little less like, well, let me run down the middle and die a couple of times before somebody finally makes a breakthrough. You know, let me wait for these abilities to recharge as the thing's ticking down and taking away our respawns. Like, it just doesn't feel good in a lot of situations. So it makes sense why they want to change these up. It makes sense why they're trying to focus more so on not only like larger maps, but also different types of verticality in the maps. It seems like where that it provides different playing experiences. I just hope that with these different types of verticalities, we don't get introduced to these really unfair mechanics like head glitching and things like that. We already have unfair mechanics in Rogue Company as it is, with like shadow peeking and ghost peeking, whatever you want to call it, things like that feels very bad. It doesn't feel like it should be that way, but it is that way just because of the servers and the way that, and the tick rate of the servers. But as long as nothing cheesy is being brought into it, then it could provide some very interesting, you know, capture and defend type situations on a lot of these maps that have access points that's a little bit higher, that have ways to overlook the point or the plant site or whatever. And I think that could provide huge benefits and also like drastically change up the way that these maps flow, the way that these maps play. I mean, we've had the same maps in the game since what, 2020? It's time for a change. You know, we're going 3 years into this thing. It's definitely time for a change, and it's definitely good that they're taking a look at some of these problem areas and some of these older maps and willing to update those as well as work on new maps. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you feel like that these changes are going to be beneficial to Rogue Company? Do you like the way that some of these changes are presented? And what are you most excited about? What are you looking most forward to when it comes to these changes? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. Also, be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays from 8 until 11 p.m. Central Time, Sundays from 10 a.m. until we get tired, I will be streaming here on YouTube. So if you're interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys.
Have y'all seen him lately?
Denim.
He in bad shape, bro. He's like 80 pounds with a walking cane.
Denim.
Not Steven Tyler?
No. Danny Bonaducci.
Oh. Sorry.
Oh.
I mean, Tyler looked pretty rough too.
He looks like a lesbian.
He does. He looks like a 40-year-old lesbian. 50 at this point, but
Ooh, I want
I think that website's still up and running.
Kevin Bacon has successfully made it off the lesbian.
He's the #1 on that website. But it's like 90s.
Yeah.
You know, 2000 Kevin Bacon when he had the lesbian haircut.
The seasoned Kevin Bacon is pretty pretty good. Whoa.
Yeah, it don't even look like him, does it?
Nah, dude. What happened, Danny?
I'll tell you what happened. And a partridge with STDs.
Oh, wow.